Hey Gearheads, Jeff with Gear Report here in the Gear Report headquarters studio to tell you about a product that just came in yesterday that's really unusual for us. Here at Gear Report we review camping and backpacking gear, we review firearms, shooting, hunting gear, we review military vehicles. None of those things do we typically review within 24 hours of receiving them. However, with medical kits, I don't want to go out and test a medical kit in the field for real, right? So for a medical kit like this, Adventure Medical Kits Grizzly, what we're going to do is open it up. We're going to go through all the items that are in it, and we'll talk about them. And that's going to be the review, because I'm not going to go hurt myself or someone else just so you can see how to use a bandage, for example. So here are all the different things that are included in this kit. Yeah, I don't know if you can read those or not, but we're going to go through them really quick. And I'll tell you, thank you, Brownells, for sending this. They asked if we could help them get the word out that they sell not just guns and gun accessories and ammo, which they do, but also camping equipment and emergency type equipment. So that's what we're doing here. We've got a variety of things that we're going to talk to you about in the days to come that involve Brownell's various different products. But this is the big daddy. This is the one I've been most excited about. This is the one that was back ordered, and they offered me something different, and I said, you know what, I'll wait for the Grizzly because I want the big daddy kit. This is not quite what a paramedic would carry, but it's got a lot of stuff in it as opposed to most of the little first aid kits that people put in their vehicles. So what we're going to do with this is going to live in the Battlewagon 2.0. It's our M1045A2 Humvee that we got from the Marine Corps. When did we pick that up? Was it December? Maybe? I think it was December. Or maybe it wasn't. Honestly, all the days and months are flowing together with that. But you can go to the website, Gear-Report.com. I got to get some coffee. Gear-Report.com. You can go to the website and look under the military vehicle section for our M1045A2 Battlewagon 2.0 Humvee information. You can see what it was when we bought it, why we bought it, how much it cost, all that stuff. And then we also have a current status update article that had to be split into two. It was getting so big, and you'll see all the different things we're doing to it. Along the way, we are turning this Humvee into a mobile emergency survival kit. And part of that's having a good medical kit. So we've got a small emergency kit that's actually on the side of one of the seats up front. We have, and that was sent by Brownells, we have a 12 survivors first aid kit that unrolls. You can see that in one of the live stream videos we posted last weekend. I think that was through the Molly gear video, potentially. Anyhow, those are both kind of light duty bumps and bruises, scrapes type kits. I wanted something, because we're taking our vehicle, the Humvee, to shooting ranges and firearms industry events, and we're going out in the woods and camping, and we're taking it when we go hunting, we could have some bigger issues like, God forbid, gunshot wounds. So I wanted something that could handle that had a little bit more to it. So let's dig into this. All right, in the top section, and this is labeled like you would find a paramedic kit or you know, a military, you know, big medical kit. So medication, wound care, burn and blisters in the top section. So what we have in here, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take stuff out, look at it, put it back, because there are too many things to get it all out at once. All right. Oh, these are kind of neat. So this looks like a contact-based thermometer. There are 3 of these. That's kind of cool. Afterbite, fast relief for insect bites. I have one of my kids in particular that's very sensitive to anything itchy like that would appreciate something like that. This is a medications card that talks about when you would use the different types of things things that are in here. And I think that's important. You know, a lot of first aid kits have stuff in them, but if people don't know how to use the stuff appropriately, really what's the use, right? And then this sealed bag has, paramide, let's see, what do we have here? Oh, these are hard to pronounce. Diphenhydramine, looks like, something like that. Maybe there's a list somewhere on here. Oh, they're hard to read on here too. Diamode, aspirin, ibuprofen. See, I can pronounce those. Easy Care First Aid Card, Afterbite, antihistamine, and acetaminophen. So we got some painkillers. We have some antihistamines to stop some, you know, allergic reaction, irritation. Not just to knock kids out for long car rides. Not that we would ever do that. All right, this syringe is in there as well. Let's see, Irrigation Syringe. It's a 20 cc with an 18 gauge tip. That's a plastic tip, so not for injecting other stuff, but for irrigation. All right, in here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my, whole stack of butterfly bandages. Hope we never need that many. And then regular adhesive bandages. Looks like there's about 8 of those. And wound closure strips. This is really neat. So this is more of a modern high-tech solution. We've got the old butterfly bandages here that may help to hold a wound closed, and then these are a reinforced, maybe we can get a better look here. These are a much sturdier, reinforced, more modern type of wound closure. So instead of doing stitches, you may be able to get away with those adhesive wound closure items. All right, we got a couple gauzes here. I should also note while we're going through this, I am not a medical professional. I have had wilderness first aid and, you know, general CPR. I've actually had CPR for the medical professional, although I'm not a medical professional. It's just how it worked out scheduling wise. So I have a little bit of training. I have enough to help when there isn't a real medical professional around, but I don't know all this stuff like the back of my hand. I do know the benefit of rubber gloves, though, and these are nitrile gloves. So if someone has a latex allergy, they're not going to be irritated by these gloves. This is some cloth tape. I would tend to call this athletic tape, but you know, call it medical tape, whatever. It's actually a pretty big roll. A lot of first aid kits have very small amounts of anything in them. That has a bit more. So we got a couple glove packs here. Cotton tipped applicator. There are a couple of these. So this is like you know, the Q-tip brand on the end with on a long wooden stick. So there's 2 in each of these packages and 2 packages. We have the registration form. Oh, I had read this. Dear Adventurer, congratulations on your Adventure Medical Kit's purchase. Be sure to familiarize yourself with your kit. Well, that's what we're doing right now. Go through each compartment and understand how it's organized. Review the medications in your kit. Make sure you know their ingredients and intended uses. When you get back from your adventure, remember to check the medical kit supplies and go to refillyourkit.com to order replacement. I think that all of that is very good advice. I know refillyourkit.com is a branded thing, but you know, you can replace it with the same stuff it came with if you go there. Medical stuff, as long as you replace it, you're probably good. 3/4 fluid ounce Povidone-Iodine antiseptic solution. So this is going to be for wound treatment before covering it up. Disinfection type stuff. Triple antibiotic ointment. Alright, sterile non-woven sponges. There are 3 of these, and they are 2" by 2". 3, it looks like, of a larger 4x4 sterile non-woven sponge. 1, 2, it looks like 2 of the 3x4 non-adherent pads, so not the sponge, but a different item there. And then this, you know, I'm finding this really cool that in each pocket they have, again, more information on how to use the different things that are in here. See the front and back here. Lots of instructions on how to use things, how to use the irrigation syringe. They show someone pulling water out of a Nalgene to, you know, squirt the debris and stuff out of a wound. There's one on here for wound closure. They have little diagrams for that. On the back, there are some blister treatment items. So every day out and about in the field, stuff like blisters, there are burns, abrasions, other stuff like that in there. I'm really, you know, all the medical equipment, all the supplies are important and useful, but if you don't know how to use them properly, they're useless. And I like that they include that in here. And then this package, let's see, we have some compound benzoin. I'm pronouncing that wrong. I can tell you that right now. Tincture. So we'll have to read in the directions to figure out what that one's for. There's some moist towelettes of the antiseptic variety. We have some more packets. It says drug facts. That's a triple antibiotic ointment. I think one of those must have come out of here already. And then some regular alcohol wipes. So these are all wound cleaning items. Yeah, pretty cool. I like the medical treatment stuff we found in here. You know, the wound care, all the different things that are in here. I think I like that they have some pretty good summarized directions with illustrations in there, even more than I like the selection of treatment equipment. All right, so now let's move to the second one. This, and you know what? This is something that just fell out. I don't know if we can get the camera to focus on this. This little safety seal was holding the zippers closed when I got this, when it arrived, so that you know if you're buying this, especially like retail, you're buying it off the shelf, it's sealed shut, so you know no one's gone through and tampered with or removed anything. I thought that's one of those things that I might not have thought to do if I were selling these. So good on you, Adventure Medical Kits, for thinking of that. First aid manual, fractures and sprains. Okay, a manual. That is this. Look at this. That is impressive. This is not a little pamphlet. We've got the little quick guides. So this is fractures and sprains. Little treatment guide here, front and back. I like these, right? But if you need more information, here you go. This is your Wilderness and Travel Medicine, a comprehensive guide from Adventure Medical Kits. This is the 4th edition. This looks pretty similar to the book I got when I went to Wilderness First Aid Training. Oh yeah. Well, there's all kind of stuff in here. So here is chest compressions and breathing. So I'm assuming that's the first CPR section. You know what's interesting? This is, they call this improvised sunglasses. And when I see that picture, it reminds me immediately of the Aircrew survival manual. So that's another thing that I carry in the Battlewagon with all of this medical and survival gear. The Aircrew survival manual, because it has a lot of medical information. Honestly, this looks very similar just at first glance to some of the medical things, although this looks a whole lot more in depth than what's in there. Aircrew survival manual has got a bunch of, you know, camouflage and escape and evasion and rescue procedures and signaling procedures and you know, avoiding detection type stuff. So it doesn't, because it's covering all those things, it doesn't get as in-depth. Oh, here you go, how to identify poison oak, poison ivy, poison sumac. Lot of good stuff in here. I I like this. I am going to go through and read this in more detail later, but so far I'm really digging that. Triangular bandage. We got a couple of these. All right, C-splint. This is something that I'm going to go ahead and bust this open if I can, just to show you. We went over these in a couple of different first aid type trainings I've been in, and I've never had one for myself. I've used them in training. But the cool thing about the C-splint, and its very persistent packaging, there we go, is that it's formable and reusable. So, you know, if you needed to immobilize a body part, you could get yourself an angle here to give a little bit of rigidity, and, you know, put that body part in there and tape it on or strap it on, and now it is effectively immobilized. And what I really like about this, a couple things. Number one, what I just showed you, how it can be used and reformed for various different things. So I'm done with it. Now I can flatten it back out, right? It's I think it's got a sheet of some sort of metal inside and then soft foam on the outside. The metal holds the shape and can be reformed. But this is really light. So in terms of if you're someplace where you are using it outdoors, like maybe you're backpacking or camping, and the weight of what you're carrying and the bulk actually makes a difference, then something like a C-splint is really good because it folds down to next to nothing. It's really light. Now, can you use sticks and hiking poles and other things you find out on the trail? Yeah, potentially. But you know you have this with you, and it's safe for the person. You know, sticks may have sharp edges or things on them. I really like these without going into too much more detail on that. Okay, so we have sterile elastic bandage, 3 inches wide, 5 yards long. These, you know, I didn't talk about these triangular bandages, are 42 inches by 42 inches by 59 inches. So that is that's going to make a pretty big bandage. You know, the cravat, you can maybe make a sling out of it or wrap a head wound, a variety of things you can do with that. This is not labeled, but this is kind of that stretchy wrap that, I don't know, if have you given blood and they take the needle out, they put a little piece of cotton on it, and then they wrap the kind of stretchy bandage around to hold it in place, and it sticks to itself. That's what this is. Coincidentally, this stuff, if you're a hockey player, you can wrap the top, the handle grip part of your hockey stick with this, and it works really well also. Yeah, pro tip, you never know what you're going to get here. Duct tape, if you can't fix it with duct tape, it ain't broke, right? So that's all the stuff in the fracture, sprain, and first aid manual area. A lot of bulkier items. Yes, I'm learning. Don't talk when you're rattling loud plastic. Alright, so let's come down here to the field trauma pack. And you see this got a different closure on it. Instead of a zipper, the trauma pack, you don't have to worry about fine motor control working a zipper. Just rip it open, right? And it's removable. This is important because if you need to grab and go for something, you know, take this out, toss it to one person, someone else treats other people out of the other items. Trauma pack, though, that's really the more urgent use items. So let's see what we have in here. All right, SWAT trust. Let me try this again. SWAT T, stretch, wrap, and tuck tourniquet. So this is a, I don't know, big rubber band, you might call it, that can be used to restrict blood flow to an extremity. Now, when I was growing up, I was taught you put a tourniquet on and that limb is gone, period. The trainings I've been through the last several years, I mean, that was true in the early and mid 90s, when I went through the various different medical trainings in the Air Force, is they said, you put a tourniquet on, that limb's gone, and I think people were hesitant to use them. The trainings I've been in more recently have been much more encouraging in saying that medical professionals are able to save those limbs quite often. So, number one priority, save the person's life. Use the tourniquet. If the limb goes, it goes, but it's not a guarantee they're going to lose the limb. All right, we got some safety pins here, a set of tweezers, pencil. This is important in emergencies, especially things like putting a tourniquet on. You need to note the time that it was put on, because that's going to be important to the medical professionals that are trying to save that limb once the person's been stabilized. Adaptic non-adhering dressing. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what this one's for. I'm going to have to go read about it and understand what that is, so that should I ever need to use it, I know how to use it. Quick Clot Advanced Clotting Sponge. This is pretty neat. So you put this under a wrap to, arrest bleeding, and it has a clotting agent that will help stop that as well. That's pretty cool. Shears, obviously. Regular scissors have some risk of, doing more damage than good. So most medical people carry shears like that. Another pair of gloves, again, the nitrile, so latex sensitive people don't have to worry about it. Cpr Breathing Barrier. Now I typically have a larger plastic, what would you call it, like a mouthpiece thing that goes over the face that I carry. But if you don't have it, these little plastic one-way valve barriers are super light, easy to carry, and useful to protect you and the other person. Hey, we don't know what you have, right? So it's not just about protecting you. Again, I love that they have the information card in here. And dude, when I get excited about a product, the hair on my arm stands up, and it just happened again. Here's something I want to show you, something I noted to myself as I was looking at one of the earlier ones. What's the big difference in these? There, even more apparent here on the back side. Fractures and sprains on bottom. Small print. You're probably not in a massive emergency. You have time and focus to read that fine print. Then you get up to the emergency one. It's marked in red to make it easier to find, and the print is larger, and things are spread out and organized better, and the illustrations are bigger. So under stress, which if you were using a trauma kit, there is probably some significant stress going on. Under stress, they have set up this CPR, bleeding and CPR guide to be much more user-friendly and useful to you. All right, so we have some Adventure Medical Kit branded. These have some cutouts in them, and it resembles moleskin. I'm not sure what these are for and why they're in the trauma kit, but again, this is why you go through the kit and you learn about it and you read about it before you go out and use it, because I'm not sure why that's in the trauma section. Okay, the pencil I showed you earlier would be used for filling out this patient assessment form. This is really critical for, obviously you need to stabilize someone who is bleeding out before you stop and write stuff down, but as soon as you get a chance that the person is stabilized and you can do it and you can document everything that you did, and as you go through, what really works well is if you do a team effort. So like if I'm the one rendering that initial emergency treatment to the best of my ability and training, don't do things that are beyond your ability and training, but while I'm doing that, someone else can document what I'm doing, and then when we hand that person off to the real medical professionals, we're going to give them this patient assessment that shows how they were when we found them, what we did to them, and anything that we observed along the way. Really, really good. Oh, there goes that hair again. This, I shouldn't get so excited about a medical kit, but this is cool stuff. And so far, it's proven to be very well thought out. Based on the limited training that I have. This is the same thing we had in the top pouch. We had a few of these. What are they? Not sterile, non-woven sponges, 4x4, but packaged in a trauma pack where they could be useful. This is a 5x9 combine pad. Yep, not sure what that means. I'm gonna have to go do some reading and figure out what that's for. And then we have an 8x10 combine pad. All right, so that's all the gear that was in the trauma pack. And then, so this says DryFlex durable, ultralight, waterproof. That's just this little resealable pouch. So I know Ziploc is a brand name, so I'm not sure what we call this type of closure when it's not a Ziploc branded product. But that's what this is a watertight, resealable, lightweight bag. So you can grab and go with all the equipment that's in this trauma pack. So we shove all this back in here, make some noise. Here, they have a little note in that I kind of got a kick out of this, that they had to do this, but I understand why. There are a lot of different choices on materials for making the bag that this is in, and anytime you have clear, it can get scratched, discolored, it can rip. Especially I've noticed clear products like that tend to degrade faster than some of the opaque materials it could choose from over time. So that little note just says it may get scratched a little bit, but they chose this material for durability and long-term usefulness. So don't get alarmed if it fades or discolors over time. Okay, so the whole kit here has 3 sections. The bottom one folds up in. There's some elastic here you could use to put other things in, I suppose, as well. And then it folds over, and there's a zipper on each side. Zipper closed, and then you have 2 little carry handles at the top. Because of the list on the back, I guess they don't have any MOLLE attachment. Man, wouldn't it be nice if this had a MOLLE attachment so I could hook it to some of the MOLLE gear in the back of the Battlewagon 2.0. That'd be pretty awesome. So, haven't seen any questions yet in the chat, so if you have any questions about this, feel free. I'm going to wrap this up. I think we've covered about everything. I'll post this on Gear-Report.com. You can go find this video. Will be embedded there. I'll put some links to where you can get this on Brownells. It's in the description of the video as well. And I'd love for you, if you found value in this, please click the subscribe button. It means a lot to us, and the little notification bell. If you're on a different platform, this is going to go on YouTube because this is live streamed on YouTube because they have that tool available. Gunstreamer doesn't have it. We really like the Gunstreamer platform. So if you're watching it there, please subscribe. We'd love to make you aware, get you on the list so that when new videos come out, you'll get them. We really appreciate it. Anything else? I'm going to do some more live streams today, so if you're around, then keep an eye out so that you see when new stuff comes up. Let me know if there's anything in particular you would like to see. If you've seen something on our Instagram feed or on Facebook or any of the other social media outlets that we haven't reviewed yet that you'd like a preview of, let me know. Maybe I can get that done as well. So thanks, and we'll see you at the range.